Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is POV, and welcome back to another week of Berserk, the 2016 anime. We are right now on episode 5, and aside from the animation that I still will not get used to for some reason, I gotta say that this episode was alright. Without further ado, let me just get into the overview. The episode starts off with Isidro, basically this young boy whose name is Isidro, talking to some knights, not really official knights, maybe just warriors, mercenaries, maybe, and they're basically telling him to give up the food that he has on him, which leads to a little bit of a conflict. Isidro put some liquid in it that made them like get sick, and Isidro just took down the big guy who was in charge. And as he's trying to get away, some soldiers stop him and try to question him. Isidro claims that it was the Kushan. The Kushan are, FYI, the warriors that you saw at the end of last episode that look a little bit more like Sahan from Arabic, I would say. Is the easiest description that I could say. And he blames it on them. They say that things don't add up, like he must be lying, and all of a sudden we have some straight up Kushan warriors in there and just slicing things up. The action was decent, can't say too much about it, and as Isidro is just about to get like cut, our man Guts walks by, because coincidentally this area where is in between, in the journey, in the road which will lead him to Casca apparently, and he just happens to walk by and happens to save Isidro. And you have this pretty badass scene where Guts shows off his strength. He shows his Dragon Slayer wielding sword, and he even compliments Godo on his blacksmith's perfectionism. Then we transfer over to this scene back in the city where where Farnese is, and the knights and some of these poor fellows are asking the knights, like, can we get some more food, and we're starving over here. And the knights straight up tell them, like, you had your share, like, we cannot give you more. And the common folk decide to, you know what, fuck it, like, we're going there, and they just barge in. They freaking try to steal the food. And then Farnese, of course, and her knights walk in, riding, excuse me, and they stop them. Then the mother straight up, like, there's a mother in between them with a child, and she straight up tells them, like, I'm sorry, I need to do this to keep my child alive. And Priest Mosgus, who we saw last week beating the shit out of someone with a Bible, he steps in and says, like, you know what, like, you're doing this for your son, so fine, let's treat him, let's come with us. And they take them to this doctor who looks after the child, and he's like, you know what, this kid's gonna be fine, don't worry about it. And Moscus takes the mother and tells him, all right, like, he's gonna be safe. However, because you did it for you sinned to save your son, so you as a sinner must face the consequences. And he takes the mother and Farnese to this torture chamber, where in the manga was pretty well, like, it was more horrific, I would say, in the manga than the eerie feeling than you get here. Maybe because you get more color in this, that makes a whole lot of difference than in the manga, because you have black and white. You see a lot more darkness, like it was a really dark area. But it had similar effects, which is like the torture room was, it's just one of those things, like, oh my god, that it's hard to describe because it's just fucked up. The best example that I can give, if you watch this episode, which you obviously did if you're watching this overview, is like when one of the guys torturing a woman, like, legit grabbed the breast, like both breasts, and starts pulling on them with, like, these iron claws, that kind of shit. Man, yeah, that torture room was so he basically puts that mother, like, on this chair. He tells her, like, all right, like, you're gonna have to suffer because you sinned, but hey, you did it for the good cause, right, to save your son. And he also asks Farnese to watch, which is really interesting because as she's watching, you could see her smiling. And having read the manga, of course, there's a certain thing that I want to talk about in near the future, but it's regarding Farnese's character development. And right now, you can see that she has this fucked up mentality, and it's gonna be, especially I can't wait to see the reaction of fellow viewers to see how they react to her character development as we head further down this arc. Now we switch over to this other scene, which is the scene with Luca, who's a prostitute, and she has her client Jerome, this guy Jerome, who is apparently a knight, and you could tell that this guy is fucking whipped. He straight up likes this girl, Luca, and it was pretty funny. This one scene where Luca and him, they're like having sex, and then all of a sudden like Casca pops out and starts screaming. I really enjoy that part of the episode. She explains to him that, oh, she's just my sister. I'm just taking care of her. She's sick, and she Casca's straight up wearing bandages, and she claims that the reason why is because this prostitution job brings up some side effects with like some diseases. And Jerome, he's straight up whipped. He tells Luca like, I want to take you with me. Like, I am not allowed to marry someone like you, but I'm allowed to have mistresses. So I will make sure that you and your sister get like the best care in the world. And she's like I heard this shit before, but like this guy, I like Jerome a lot. To be honest, I haven't read the manga. Not that he does anything huge, but like I absolutely love this guy. Technically it's not noble to like have a wife and still have mistresses and cheat on your wife with it, but at the same time, like he's like a good guy. So you could tell that this Luca also, as Jerome goes away, this Luca is a pretty good person. She has these other girls that she takes care of, and even though Jerome gave her like this necklace, this pearl necklace, absolutely apparently expensive, she straight up broke the necklace in front of them and made the girls divide the pearls among them, and made sure and asked to make sure that everyone got an equal amount. So you could tell she's a good person trying to take care and making sure that everyone's all right. And aside from that, the fact that she took Casca in, and one of the beautiful reasoning for giving bandages to Casca is that her face is too pure and she doesn't want Casca to be worked in this area, which is absolutely beautiful. And she also brings up like the branded mark on her chest, and she's like you must have been through some shit. And there comes my little bit of my criticism, I guess, because I think Rickard is the one who told Guts about the witch burnings. And I don't know, like I guess maybe when I was watching it, maybe I thought like, wait, are they talking about Casca right now? Do they already have Casca? And right now it's like Casca is apparently unnoticed still. So I'm guessing my conclusion is just that I'm from seeing also like the backgrounds and like the design of the area of the story where this is gonna take place, like the whole kingdom. I think I saw some people burned like on stakes, so I'm guessing like which burning has been done before. So, and the only reason why I thought that it was that Rickard meant Casca was because right after he mentions it, Guts gets that flashback of like that dream that nightmare succubus gave him, that vision of Casca getting burned. So the final scene in this episode is Guts and it's like Isidro tagging along with Guts, and Guts fighting off these demons that took over like these tortured souls. And like last episode, we saw the moss goose break the limbs of like, excuse me, break the limbs of like of these sinners, and straight up attack, like wrap them around with like on these cartwheels. And now these like some demons took over those bodies, and they're like just rolling down, and Guts just does his best and fucking destroys them. If you have played um, Dark Souls 3, I think there's this skeleton soldier area in the game, and you have these these skeletons on wheels, I think, as well, which is hilarious because I believe that Dark Souls took the inspiration from this part of the series of Berserk, since it draws a lot of inspiration from it as well. But overall, absolutely great to have that reference in between them. A couple of things that I do want to compliment more about this episode is, of course, the music. You can tell what music is from Hirosawa, um, and just when the music kicks in, it's just like this great, good feeling. I absolutely love it so much. Next thing, like the little bit of like the when Gus is asked, this is towards the end where Gus is asking Isidro about did you ever kill someone, and you have like this fisheye effect. Pretty good effect, and I absolutely love the way it looks because it brings up like this confusion at the same time, some insecurity out of Isidro, and I hope they imply these camera effects more towards the series, because I feel that there's a good place for them in the Berserk anime, at least, even though they weren't implied in the manga. And the last thing I want to bring up is when you have this, Luca basically asks this blonde girl that she takes care of as well to take Casca to get some water, and as she's doing it, she asks Casca like, "Is there any, I wish I like no what she says is like, I'm pretty sick. Um, the doctor says that eventually the blood will go through my brain. Will I become like you? Are you afraid of anything at all anyway?" And you just get this pan out of like the castle foreshadowing some shit, and that little transition, that little monologue, I would say, in combination with the scenery and the pan out to the whole castle of, like, that was absolutely well done. So overall, the episode was alright. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the series. I will continue watching it because there are some really good moments, and despite the 3D animation that I'm not too crazy about, there are some really nicely well animated 2D moments that I just want to see animated at least. And I'm curious, knowing what's gonna happen. Like, I just want to see how much the anime is gonna take it, how far they're gonna take it. Regardless, my name is DLPOV. If you enjoyed this overview, hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing this every week, and next week hopefully more on time. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week for episode 6 of Berserk, the 2016 anime. Goodbye and have a good weekend. Bye.